Jai Jagannath. So, welcome to lecture number 5 of capacitor. Today, we will discuss Wheatstone bridge. You see, this type of circuit is called Wheatstone bridge. Here, there are 5 capacitors connected in this way. So, now, this type of circuit is called Wheatstone bridge. And under what condition? It is called balanced Wheatstone bridge. Balanced Wheatstone bridge. What is the condition? For balanced Wheatstone bridge, what happens? The potential at this point is equal to potential at this point. If potential at this point is equal to this, then potential difference between this point to this point is equal to 0. So if potential difference is equal to 0, you know Q is equal to C into V. Q is equal to C into V. So if potential difference is equal to 0, then charge through this capacitor will be 0. So that means capacitor will behave just like an open circuit. There is no charge. That means it will behave as open circuit. So for balanced Wheatstone bridge, this capacitor 5, C5 will be open. So though this capacitor is there, physically there, but it has no role because the potential difference across these 2 points is equal to 0, so charge will be 0. So now that it will behave as open circuit. So we can remove this capacitor without affecting to the circuit. So under that condition, let us say this is C1, this is C2, C3, C4. So under balanced Wheatstone bridge condition, this point potential is equal to this point potential. So let us say this point potential is X. The potential of this point is also X. And let us say potential at this point is V and potential at this point is 0. That means if we connect a battery like this, so here positive terminal voltage is V, negative terminal voltage is 0, so potential difference is equal to V. So here this terminal is connected to A point, so A point potential will be V. This terminal is connected to B point, the potential at this point is equal to 0. So now we will find a condition, under what condition it is called balanced Wheatstone bridge. Now tell me, let us say the charge through this capacitor is Q1 and charge through this capacitor is Q2. Since it is series connection, in series connection charge remains same. So here Q1, here also Q1. And this path is also a series path. In the series connection, charge remains same. So here charge is Q2, here charge is also Q2. Then what is the total charge? Total charge is equal to Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2 according to Kirchhoff's current law. So now we will find what is Q1. So you know Q is equal to C into V. V is the potential difference. So here the charge through this C1 capacitor, it is here Q1 is equal to capacitance is C1 into potential difference between two plates. So here this plate is connected to V and here this plate is connected to the X potential. So potential difference is nothing but V minus X. Let us say this is your equation number 1. So so here you are, then what is Q2? What is Q2 in this path? So Q2 is equal to its capacitance value, that is C3, into voltage across potential difference across this capacitor is nothing but V minus X. So this is your equation number 2. So now divide this equation 1 to equation 2. So what you will get? You will get Q1 by Q2 is equal to V minus X cancel. So it is C1 by C3. Let us say this is your equation number 3. So now we can find what is the charge through this capacitor C2, Q1. And what is the capacitance, C2. And what is the potential difference between two plates? It is X minus 0. So that is X. So let us say this is equation number 4. Similarly, the charge through this capacitor is Q2, which is equal to capacitance C4 into voltage potential difference, that is X minus 0. Let us say this is equation number 5. So now divide equation 4 to equation 5. So what you will get? you will get Q1 by Q2 is equal to C2 by C4. So this is your equation number 6. So now compare equation number 3 and equation number C. So here Q1 by Q2 is equal to what? Hence, from 3 and 6 equation we got from 3 Q1 by Q2 is equal to C1 by C3, and from 6 it is C2 by C4. So that is the condition of balanced Wheatstone bridge. So this is the condition for balanced Wheatstone bridge. Balanced Wheatstone bridge. Or we can say if we cross multiply, so that implied C1 into C4 is equal to C3 into C2. C3 into C2. So that means the product of this opposite side capacitance, that is C1 into C4, must be equal to product of this opposite side capacitor, that is C3 into C2. This is only possible under what condition? Balanced Wheatstone bridge. If it is unbalanced, we cannot apply this equation. So basing upon this, we will solve some numericals. Now see, this is a question. So this is called Wheatstone bridge. But we have to find the equivalent capacitance across A and B terminal. Okay. So first of all, you have to see whether it is balanced or unbalanced. For balanced condition, the opposite side capacitance value, that is 3C into 8C, and this opposite side capacitance multiplication, that is 4C into 6C, you compare whether they are equal or not. Definitely this is 3 into 8, 24, this is 4 into 6. So that means this is the, so this indicates it is, or you can say C1 by C2, that is 3C by 4C is equal to 6C by 8C. So the ratio is 3 by 4. So since this condition is satisfied, it is called balanced Wheatstone bridge. If it is balanced, the potential at this point and this point is 0. If 0, so there will be no flow of charge through this. So there is no charge. That means this capacitor will behave as an open circuit. We can remove this 5C. We can remove this 5C. So after removal of this 5C, the circuit will be like this. So this is A terminal, this is B terminal, this is 3C, this is 6C, this is 4C, this is 8C. So now if you will charge entry at A point, so this charge will divide here Q1, here Q2. Now same Q1 will flow through this. That means we know in series connection charge remains same. So if charge remains same, this 3C and 6C are connected in series. So I will write this is 3C, this is 6C, both are connected in series from which point to which point? A point to B point. Now again there is another path. So here the charge through this and this is same, Q2, Q2. That means this 4C and 8C is also connected in series. Both are connected to A point as well as B point. So this is A, this is B. So across A and B, I will connect this 4C and 8C in series. So now this is A point, this is also B point. So I am just taking this branch. So this is your A, this is your B. So now you see this 3C and 6C. What is the equivalent? 3C and 6C. What is the equivalent? That is 3C into 6C divided by 3C plus 6C. So which is equal to 2C. Similarly, in this path, what is the equivalent? 4C into 8C. So that is 4C into 8C divided by 4C plus 8C. C1, C2 by C1 plus C2. So this is what? This is your 8 by 3. See. So now see, this is A, this is B. Now across this A and B, there are two parallel paths. So this capacitance is 2C. And this capacitance is 8 by 3C. So what is the equivalent capacitance across A and B? Both are connected in parallel. So it is C1 plus C2. We know the formula. So here C1 is equal to 2C. This capacitance is equal to 8 by 3C. So that is equal to 14C by 3. So this is the equivalent capacitance across this A and B terminal. Now see in this question, so this is an arrangement of a capacitors. All are identical capacitance. You have to find the equivalent capacitance across A and B terminal. Now how will you solve this? You see, if this point is A, so this point A means this point is also A, and this point is also A, because in between this point to this point there is only wire. So this wire is having same potential. So at A, at this point and this point potential is the same because it is connected by a wire. So you can say it is short circuited. Similarly, if this point is B, this point is also B, and this point is similar to this point because in between this point to this point there is no capacitor, so it is short circuited. So I got two variable, only A and B. So how I will solve this problem? You see, first take a point A, then point B, just bring two lines from A to B. So this first capacitor is connected between A and B. So you see, this is A, this is B. So this capacitor C is connected between A and B in one path. Again, this C is connected between B and A or A and B in another path. So this is A, this is B. So I will connect this capacitance C. Again, this C is also connected between A and B. So this is A point, this is B point. We just connect this third capacitor. So now you see, so it is nothing but parallel connection. So in parallel connection, the equivalent capacitance is equal to sum of these three. So C plus C plus C, that is equal to 3C. Now see, this is another arrangement of the capacitors. There are 5 capacitors connected in this manner. So you have to find the equivalent capacitance across A and B. So what you will do, every time you have to take some variable name of the junction. You see, this is a junction. So what is this point? So if this point is A, this point is also A. And if this point is B, this point is B. So now you see, from this point to this point, there is a capacitor. So you cannot say the potential at this point is equal to potential at this point. Okay. So if I will take this point is B, this point is another point, let us say D. And here this point and this point is connected through a capacitor. So if this terminal is A, this terminal will never be A. So it will be not also equal to B. So it is something other variable, let us say E. So now I got 4 variable A, B, E, D. So how will solve this problem? So it will be very easy. You see, so you have to calculate equivalent capacitance across A and B. So first I will take A point, then I will take B point. I will bring 2 lines. Okay. So now, and there are other variable, that is D and E. So let us say I am taking this is D point, this is E point. Okay. So now this first capacitor C is connected between A and D. So this is A and D. So just connect this capacitor. So this part is over. Then this C is connected between D and E. So this is D. This is your E. So this is your C. So this capacitor is over. And this capacitor is connected between E and B. E and B. So now this is also C. And this capacitor is connected between D and B. D and B. D and B. So this is your C. So this part is over. So this capacitor is connected between A and E. This is A. This is E. So this is the last capacitor. So this arrangement is also equal to this arrangement. We just change the circuit. You see. So suppose somebody has taken the wire. Suppose this is a wire. So in this way it is connected. But if I will take this is A point, this is B point, I can connect like this, no problem. Okay. So now you see, so first, so this is a Wheatstone bridge. So if it is a Wheatstone bridge, first of all, we have to check whether it is balanced or not. So definitely it is balanced, because this capacitance into this capacitance is equal to C into C, that is C square. So this opposite side capacitor C into C, that is also C square. So it is which condition? Balanced Wheatstone bridge condition. So if it is balanced, what will happen? So this middle capacitor will behave open circuit. That means we may remove this capacitor. We may remove this capacitor. If we remove this capacitor, only 4 capacitors are there. So this is A point, this is B point. From A to B, this is one path where C and C are connected in series. And I have already told, if same identical capacitors are connected in series, then equivalent capacitance will be, so here how many capacitor? 2. So equivalent capacitor will be C by 2, or C1 into C2 by C1 plus C2. That is C square by 2C, that is C by 2. So here this C and this C are connected in series. So what is the equivalent? Equivalent will be C by 2. So in between A and B there are 2 parallel paths. Then what is the equivalent capacitance? In parallel, the capacitance will be added. C by 2 plus C by 2, that is C. So this is the equivalent capacitance across A and B. Now see, in this type of connection, what is the equivalent capacitance across A and B? So here there are 6 capacitors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have to arrange in such a way that, so it is looking very complicated. So we have to make it simple. Without changing the charge value and potential difference across each capacitor, we will just rearrange the circuit to make it easy. How? You see, this is your, so let us say this is the point D, this point is E. So you see, so I have taken, this is your A point, this is your B point. Now this is your D, this is your E. Okay. So what we'll do, this this capacitor is connected between A and D. Okay. This capacitor is connected between D and B. This capacitor is connected between A and E. I am not changing. So here this C is connected between E and B. Okay. So now see this capacitor C is connected between D and E. So this capacitance is connected between what? It is connected between A and B. So now I will bring this capacitor just like this. So this capacitor was connected in the middle line. So I am taking to this line to make the simple. So let us say this is C. So this is your A terminal, this is your B terminal. Now first of all, you see, we have already solved this problem. So this is a balanced Wheatstone bridge, because C into C, C square, C into C, C square. So it is balanced Wheatstone bridge. So that means this capacitor, middle capacitor, has no role. So we can remove this capacitance. So if we remove, you see, this is A and B. So if we remove this, what will happen? This C and this C are connected in series. C and C. And this C and this C is connected in AB. So that is also series connection, C and C. And this C is connected across A and B in another path. Okay. So now bring this A terminal, B terminal. So here see, there are 3 parallel paths. In this path, C and C are connected in series. The equivalent will be C by 2. So here these C and C are connected in series. Equivalent will be C by 2. Here this C is connected in between this. So this is your A terminal, this is your B terminal. So there are 3 parallel paths. Then what is the equivalent capacitance? It is sum of 3. That is C by 2, C by 2 plus C. So that is equal to C plus C, that is 2C. So this is the equivalent capacitance. Now see, this is question number 6. So in this arrangement, okay, this is 4C, 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 this is C. So in this arrangement, you have to find the equivalent capacitance across A and B. So I am giving, this is your homework. Solve this and post the result, post the answer in the comment box. Okay, so try to do at your home. Now we'll see the common potential. What do you mean by common potential? Common potential, let us say common potential is V. Suppose there are two capacitors. So this is C1, this is the second capacitor C2, and these two capacitors are charged to V1 volt and V2 volt. Okay, so this is the first capacitor. You charge fully so that the potential difference across the capacitor will be V1 and charge through the capacitor is Q1. Similarly, this capacitor is charged by another source with a potential difference V2 and let the charge stored is equal to Q2. So if they will be connected together, that means this is your C1, this is your C2. So here voltage is V1, here voltage is V2. So here charge is Q1, here charge is, let us say, Q2. So if we will connect both, what will happen? Let us say, let V1 is greater than V2. So if V1 is greater than V2, what will happen? So definitely, if V1 is greater than V2, so there is a potential difference between this point to this point. So due to potential difference, charge will flow. So if V1 is greater than V2, the charge will flow from which side? From capacitor 1 to capacitor 2. So now, since V1 is greater than V2, charge will flow from first capacitor to second capacitor. That means C1 capacitor loses charge and C2 capacitor gain the charge. Okay, so now you see, I have assumed V1 is greater than V2, let us say. So if charge will lose by C1 capacitor, its potential will fall. So now potential of C1 will fall. And potential, since this capacitor is gaining charge, so potential of C2 will increase. Let us say potential is initially 10 volt, here 8 volt. So when charge will be when the first capacitor will lose charge, the potential will drop from 10 volt to 9 volt. And here this capacitor gain charge. That means its potential will increase. Let us say initially it was 8. Now it is increased to 9 volt. So now that common voltage which is equal to 9 volt is called common potential. So when potential of both will be same, there will be no flow of charge. Okay, so now potential of C1 decreases, potential of C2 increases. After some time, what will happen? After some time, the potential of both will be same. And that potential is called common potential. That potential is called common potential. Let us say it is V. Now what will happen? So initially charge was Q1. Now this Q1 charge will decrease and this Q2 charge will increase. So finally we will get the charge across the two capacitor will be modified. Okay. So now what is the concept? Charge remains constant. That is, total charge of this system remains constant. Okay. So what is the initial charge? Initial charge is equal to Q1 plus Q2 before connection, and after connection charge will be modified. Let the capacitor C1 possess Q1 dash charge, and capacitor 2 possesses Q2 dash charge. So charge remains constant. Then what is Q1? What is Q1? So capacitance is C1, voltage is V1. So you know Q is equal to CV. So Q1 is equal to C1 into V1 plus what is Q2? What is Q2? Q2 is equal to C2 into V2. That is before connection, this is the total charge. And after connection, now the voltage across this capacitor is not V1, rather it is V. Voltage across this capacitor is not V2, rather it is V. That is common potential. So if potential will change, charge will also change. So what is the charge of this capacitor? After combination, the charge across this capacitor is C1. Capacitance will not change. It depends upon the dimension. So C1 into the common potential V plus. What is the capacitor charge here? So capacitance is C2. And what is the voltage across this? Now it is V. So from this I can say C1 V1 plus C2 V2 is equal to take common V C1 plus C2. So that implied V is equal to C1 V1 plus C2 V2 divided by C1 plus C2. This is the formula of common potential. This is the formula of common potential. Okay. So the common potential V is equal to C1 V1 C2 V2 divided by C1 plus C2. Now we will discuss what is the energy, in which way energy changes. Okay. So now tell me what is the initial energy stored by the capacitor before connection. What is the initial energy stored in these two capacitors? So in this first capacitor, energy stored is equal to half C1 V1 square. And here the energy stored is equal to half C2 V2 square. So this is the initial energy stored by the two capacitors. And after combination, the final energy will be what? Half. Capacitance will not change, C1, but voltage is changed from V1 to V, that is V square, plus half C2. So across this C2, voltage is V, not V2, V square. So this is the final energy. Now we will find what is the difference of energy. Difference of energy. So if we will find the difference of energy, so that is equal to, I will take initial energy minus final energy. Initial energy minus final energy. So here this is the initial energy, half C1 V1 square, half C2 V2 square, minus, this is the final energy, half C1 plus half C2 into V square. I am taking common V. Now put the value of V, this here, and just use some algebra. Just take the algebra. So after solving, I will get C1 C2 into V1 minus V2 whole square divided by 2 into C1 plus C2. If you will calculate, you will get this result. Okay. Put the value of V this here and solve. You will get initial energy minus final energy is equal to this much. Now see, C1 C2 all are positive, and V1 minus V2 either positive or negative, but the square of this term is positive, so everything is positive. So that implied initial energy minus final energy is positive. That indicate initial energy is greater than final energy. Okay, so before combination, the energy, total energy was greater than total energy after combination. Then question comes, so what that difference in energy will do what? So when you are connecting these two capacitor by what? By connecting wire. So when the charge will flow through this connecting wire, at that time current will flow. So due to current, you know, according to Joule's law of heating effect, so current carrying conductor produces heat energy. So when charge will be redistributed, or when charge is shared along this connecting wire, current will flow, so heat energy will flow, and heat energy will be developed. So that heat energy will be radiated to the surrounding. That means that is the loss. So we can say this difference in energy ui minus uf is equal to, it is the energy lost. This is the energy lost. In the form of what? In the form of heat energy developed. In where? In the connecting wire. In the connecting wire, some heat energy will be developed. So that heat energy is a loss. So energy lost in the form of heat energy in the connecting wire. Now see, let us solve this problem. Example 24.7. So this is C1 capacitor with 8 microfarad capacitance. It is connected to the switch A and it is connected to the battery. So now what you see, this C2 capacitor, it is initially uncharged. Okay, that means what is the charge on this capacitor? 0. So if charge is 0, capacitance value is 4 microfarad, then it is initially this C1 is charged. After fully charged, what will happen? This switch is changed from position number A to position number B. Okay, so initially see, the first capacitance value is C1, which is equal to 8 microfarad, and charge, initial charge is what? Q0. We have to find this. And what is the potential difference across this capacitor? It is fully charged. That means full voltage of this source will come across this capacitor. That is V1 is equal to 120 volt. So now I am taking, so this is the first capacitor, which is C1, charge is Q0, and voltage is V1, which is given this value. And initially this capacitor C2, whose value is 4 microfarad, it is initially uncharged. That means the initial charge is equal to 0. So if initial charge is 0, then what is the potential difference across this capacitor? You know, V is equal to Q by C. So V2 is equal to Q2 by C2. So Q2 is 0. So potential difference across this capacitor is 0. Now what will happen? Now the switch is changed from position number A to position number B. So now switch is changed. Now switch is changed to position number B. So if the position number B, if the switch is changed, then what will happen? So this capacitor C1 and this capacitor C2 will be directly connected. So before the charge sharing, the capacitance of this capacitor was 8 microfarad. The charge was Q0 and the voltage was 120 volt. And here the capacitance is 4 microfarad, charge is equal to 0 and potential difference is also 0. So this is before charge sharing. Before charge sharing, that is just at the time of switching. At that time, this is the condition of two capacitor. But after some time, when charge distribution completed, at that time the capacitance of first capacitor will remain same, that is 8 microfarad, and the voltage will not be 120 because during charge sharing this capacitor will lose charge, this capacitor will gain charge, so that potential difference here decreases, here increases. After some time both will have same potential. So that same potential is nothing but the common potential. So here, so after sharing, so V1 is equal to V, Q1 is now changed to Q1 dash. Charge is redistributed. So here the capacitance was C2, the voltage is now the common potential V, and here charge is equal to Q2 dash. So initially charge was 0, but there will be some charge sharing in these two capacitor. So new capacitance, new charge across the capacitor will be Q2 dash. Okay, so first we have to find what is the common potential. Okay, so now, so first we will answer this. First bit. What is first bit? What is the charge Q naught on C1? So what is the initial charge across the capacitor? You know Q is equal to C into V. So Q naught initial charge is equal to C1 into initial voltage. Initial voltage is 120. So that implied Q naught is equal to C1. C1 is 8 microfarad into V1. V1 is 120 volt. Just multiply this. So you will get 960 microfarad into volt is microcoulomb. So this is the initial charge across the first capacitor. Then question is, what is the energy stored in C1? So what is energy stored? So initially, before connection to second capacitor, what was the initial charge across the first capacitor? So energy store formula is half C1 V1 square. That is half. C1 is how much? C1 is 8 microfarad into V1 square. V1 is 120 volt square. So now calculate this. So if you will calculate, I think it will come 0.058 joule. Then find the potential difference across each capacitor and charge on each. So after the combination, that is after sharing the charge, what will be the voltage across C1 and across C2? So that voltage is nothing but the common potential. So we have derived the formula of common potential. What is that common potential? C1 V1, C2 V2 divided by C1 plus C2. So what is C1? C1 is nothing but 8 microfarad into V1. So V1 is nothing but what? 120 plus C2. C2 is 4 microfarad into V2. V2 is initially voltage is 0 divided by C1 plus C2. 8 microfarad plus 4 microfarad. So if you calculate the common potential, if you calculate, I think it will come 80 volt. Then we will find the charge across each capacitor after sharing the charge. So new charge across the first capacitor, that is Q1 dash, is equal to C1 into common potential V. So C1 is nothing but 8 microfarad into common voltage, you got 80 volt. So 640 microcoulomb. Then what is the charge across the second capacitor? That is C2 into common potential V. C2 is nothing but 4 microfarad and V common voltage is 80 volt. That is equal to 320 microcoulomb. So this is the charge across each capacitor. This is the voltage across each capacitor. Okay. So next is you have to find what is the energy, initial energy stored. So initial energy stored, that is energy stored before combination. You can say, so first energy stored by the first capacitor, half C1 V1 square. Second capacitor, half C2 V2 square. So that is equal to half C1 8 microfarad into V1. V1 is 120 square plus half C2 4 microfarad into initial voltage was 0. Now calculate this. So if you will calculate, you will get 0.058 joule. So this is the initial energy. Then we will find what is the final energy. After combination, what is the final energy? So final energy is nothing but UF is equal to half C1 into final voltage is V square plus half C2 into final voltage is V square. So that is equal to the final energy is equal to half V square common C1 plus C2. So that is equal to half V square. V is 80 square. C1 is 8 microfarad. C2 is 4 microfarad. So just calculate this 664. If you calculate, I think it will come 0.038 joule. So this is the initial energy stored. This is the final energy stored, and we are observing the final energy is less than initial energy. Then what is the loss of energy? Loss of energy is equal to initial energy, that is 0.058 joule, minus final energy, that is 0.038 joule. So that difference will be 0.02 joule. So this energy is lost in the form of what? In the form of heat energy. So that is the heat energy will be developed in this connecting wire, and that heat energy is a loss. Now see, a parallel plate capacitor, you see, this is a parallel plate capacitor. The area of the plate is A, distance of separation is D, and it is connected to a battery source of potential difference V. So after fully charged, what will happen? With potential, with source remaining connected. Source is not disconnected. Source is already there. Now we will introduce a dielectric medium completely filled in this space. And what is the dielectric constant? K. So after this, we have to compare what will happen to the potential difference across the plate. What is the capacitance value? What is the charge, new charge on the capacitor? What is the surface charge density? What is electric field between these two plates? And what is the energy stored by this capacitor? Okay. Suppose initially potential, you see, this plate is completely charged, fully charged. That means after fully charged, the potential difference across this plate will be same as that of potential difference of the source. That means the potential difference is now V. Let us say the initial capacitance is C. Okay, initial capacitance is C. Initial charge across this capacitor is Q. The surface charge density is sigma. Electric field is E. The energy stored is U. So after inserting the dielectric, what will be the new potential difference across this plate? What will be the new capacitance? What will be the new charge? What will be the new surface charge density? What will be the new electric field intensity? And what will be the new energy stored by the capacitor? Okay. So now see, first we will ensure that since the battery is already connected, since battery is already there, we are not disconnecting the supply, only we are introducing the dielectric. Then what will happen? The potential difference will remain same, because you see, this plate is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. This plate is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. If the potential difference across these two terminals is V, then potential difference across these two plates is also V. That means the new potential difference across the plate will remain same, that is as that of the previous. So voltage or potential difference does not change. Then second bit, what is the capacitance? So you know what is the capacitance for any medium. Capacitance for any medium is equal to K times epsilon naught A by D. That is equal to K times epsilon naught A by D is nothing but the AR capacitance. So by introducing the dielectric, capacitance increases. Okay. So now we can say C dash, the new capacitance, is equal to K times epsilon naught A by D, that is equal to K times the initial capacitance is C. So that means capacitance increases. Okay. So here capacitance increases. How many times? Now K times that of the previous value. Then C width. So what is the charge? So now you know charge is equal to Q is equal to CV. So new charge Q dash is equal to C dash into V dash. But what is C dash? C dash is nothing but KC. What is V dash? V dash is nothing but same voltage V. So that is equal to K times CV. So that implied K times, what is C into V? C into V is the initial charge, that is Q. So now you see Q dash we got K times Q. Since K is always greater than 1 for any other dielectric medium, so Q dash is greater than Q. That means charge magnitude increases. Then come to D bit. So here what is the surface charge density? So what is surface charge density? Sigma is equal to charge per unit area. So new surface charge density sigma dash is equal to q dash by a dash. But q dash we have already got k times q. Area has not changed in the same plate. So area is the same. That is equal to k into q by area. So k into q by area, charge per area is equal to surface charge density. What was the initial surface charge density? Sigma. So that implied sigma dash is equal to k times sigma. Since k is greater than 1, so surface charge density increases. Next, what is electric field intensity? Electric field intensity is nothing but potential difference divided by distance. So E dash is equal to V dash by D dash. But V dash is nothing but same voltage V. D dash, distance between two plates, remains same. It is not changed. So V by D. But what is V by D? So V by D is the electric field here. So what is electric field? E. So I could write E dash is equal to E. So that means electric field will not change. It will remain constant. Come to last bit, energy stored. So energy formula is equal to half Q into V. But finally we will get U dash is equal to Q dash into V dash. That is equal to half times Q dash is equal to what? Q dash is equal to K times Q. But V dash is equal to V. That is equal to K times half into Q into V. That is K times half into Q into V is nothing but the initial energy. That is U. So that implied we got U dash is equal to K times U. Since K is greater than 1, U dash is greater than U. That implied energy stored increases. Now this is the same type of problem, but here what happens, the question is given, this is the parallel plate capacitor. Initially switch is closed and this capacitor is fully charged. After fully charged, we will disconnect this battery source. How will you disconnect? Just switch open the switch. If you open the switch, there is no source. Okay, so there is no voltage source now. If there is no voltage source, so what will happen to this potential difference, capacitance, every these 6 parameter, how it will change? So this is the question. So the previous problem and this problem, only difference is that here after disconnecting the source, dielectric is introduced. So what will happen to this? Okay. So first you see, since the capacitor is already fully charged Q, the potential difference across the capacitor is V, capacitance is C, sigma is the surface charge density, E is the electric field intensity, initial energy stored is U. So now disconnect the switch. So if you disconnect the switch, whatever charge was there, that is Q, now that charge will remain as it is, because since this is open circuit, whatever charge is already stored, that charge will remain as it is. That means, so first we can say the charge remains same. Charge remains same. Charge does not change here because there is no path to share the charge, distribute the charge. So charge remains same. So if I will first take the C bit answer, so C bit answer, the final charge Q dash will remain same as that of the initial charge. Okay. In the previous case, voltage was remaining same, but here charge will remain same. Then what will happen to the capacitance? So this is B bit answer. What is the capacitance? Capacitance is nothing but C dash is equal to Q dash by, sorry, you can write capacitance by introducing the dielectric. Capacitance is equal to what? K times the initial capacitance. So since K is greater than 1, the capacitance is greater than previous capacitance. That means capacitance will increase. Charge will remain same. Then what is the potential difference? What is the potential difference? It is V dash. So V is equal to Q by C. So V dash is equal to Q dash by C. C dash. Q dash is nothing but Q, same charge. But C dash is now K times C. So that implied V dash is equal to 1 by K into Q by C. That is equal to 1 by K Q by C. What is Q by C? Q by C is nothing but voltage. So Q by C is equal to V. So that implied V dash is equal to V by K. Since K is greater than 1, so V dash is less than V. So that implied potential difference across the plate will decrease. Come to surface charge density. Surface charge density is equal to sigma dash is equal to Q dash by A dash. But Q dash is equal to Q, same charge. Area has not changed, A. So Q by A is nothing but sigma. So that implied surface charge density remains same. Sigma dash is equal to sigma. It will not change. Then come to E bit. What is electric field intensity? Electric field intensity is nothing but V by D. E dash is equal to V dash by D dash. So what is the value of V dash? V dash is nothing but V by K divided by D dash. Distance has not changed, same distance D. So that is equal to 1 by K into V by D. But V by D is nothing but the initial electric field, that is E. So we got E dash is equal to E by K. Since K is greater than 1, that implied E dash is less than E. That means electric field intensity decreases. Okay, electric field intensity decreases. Then what will happen to the energy stored? Energy stored. Energy stored is equal to half into Q into V. So U dash is equal to half Q dash into V dash. That is half. Q dash is already same, that is Q. V dash, what is V dash? What is V dash? V dash is equal to V by K. So that is equal to 1 by K times half into Q into V. That is equal to 1 by K. What is half into QV? This is the initial energy stored, that is U. So from this we conclude that U dash is equal to U by K. Since K is greater than 1, U dash is less than U. That means potential energy decreases.